作りましょう作りましょうさてさて何ができるかなはいできました
Slowly over time, rap has taken over as one of the most popular genres of music, especially beloved by the younger demographic, with multiple subgenres to explore, and eventually clinging to one of those subgenres, supporting the artists in it. For example, if you're in love with the trap genre, Future and Truly Humble Under God are artists you enjoy listening to. The rap scene is definitely different from, let's say, back 20 years ago, where mainstream rappers like Eminem, Jay-Z, and Dr. Dre and others were getting most of the publicity. Social media has made it easier for lesser-known artists to make their staple as a relevant figure and making rap more versatile than ever. But does that mean rap is becoming better? I feel like there's a void now for who we look up to as the best rapper today because of how much diversity there is in rap now. Look at each decade, there's a general consensus for the best rapper of, let's say, the 90s or 2000s, and definitely the 2010s as well. Even though it's all opinion-based and subjective, you get the same few answers for each decade. I know we aren't halfway through the 2020s, but if I were to ask you who has been the best artist this decade, you would get many different answers than you would get before. Is this just because rap has become diverse? Monkey Brain says, every rapper is mid now.
Treat me like white teeth, don't get me dirty.
Aubrey has been in the spotlight for a really long time, and someone as mainstream as him, there's obviously going to be opinions all over the spectrum. And if we're being honest with ourselves, his best days are long behind him. His numbers would indicate he's still the best rapper today, but I would disagree. Numbers generally should only be used to determine how popular an album is or how popular an artist is, and how much traction it has. Whether it's good or not should be left to judgment. According to Numbers, Scorpion and Views are top 3 albums. Would you agree that's the case? I would assume not. As time goes on, his music becomes easier and easier to digest, and that helps him maintain his audience, and kind of the same charade he does over and over again. 37 going on 38-year-old man doing the I'm a lover boy, but part-time romantic, and people eat that shit up, so good for him. With his alter ego, of course. A lot of his discography has eerily similar beats and flows, which isn't a bad thing. It works for him, but I think a lot of people are kind of just tired of his shtick, and is looking on for something new, which kind of makes sense. Has a lot of hood classic albums, but his new music has almost no replay value. I don't think he's overrated. The hate for him just stems from his early music being really good, and from what I said before, people are kind of just fatigued by his new music. So yeah, 6 out of 10 as it gets, and Fat D was the most boring album I listened to all year.
I lost.
I'll jump into another big artist that dropped an album this year, Lil Uzi. And the start of his discography is pretty strong. 4 straight albums of peak, a lot of stuff I revisit to this day. The release of Eternal Take was the last memory for a lot of us, including myself, before the world shut down and all that. And honestly, I thought it was really underwhelming. It was the beginning of when Uzi dropped what I like to call his trilogy of trash. I didn't mess with any of these albums. I thought a lot of those albums were really boring and didn't really have any kind of replay value, especially Pluto Baby Pluto. That was a rough listen, but this was horrible. Like, I don't think I'd never been more disappointed in a new album more than this one. I was 10 songs in and this wasn't getting any better, and I was crying and throwing up and I couldn't believe what I was putting my ears through. I thought his fall off was so bad. I was starting to think, Youngboy over Uzi now? Then he dropped a really good EP, and his last album was pretty solid, and it kind of balanced his discography out. So as of now, he's alright. An artist who came up a little bit earlier, but their music has consistently been received positively, is definitely Travis Scott. From Rodeo now to Utopia, I feel like his following has relatively been the same, if not grown more, as one of the better mainstream rappers. Astroworld being his most popular album, stapled him as being one of the best rappers in this era. But I don't think we should forget that. He didn't drop an album for 5 years.
What the
He left
Sigma?
his fans starving. Some of you guys were in middle school when Astroworld came out. Now you guys are going into college, finishing up high school. That's how long it's been. Quality should be valued over quantity, but how long does it really take to make a hood classic? Another artist that leaves their fans in the dust is Playboi Carti. Like Uzi, his music was revered during the SoundCloud era, but unlike Uzi, he just decided to stop dropping music. And when he does drop music, it is the laziest shit ever. Since June of 2021, 2.5 years ago, he has dropped absolutely nothing on any of his streaming services. Whole Lotta Red is the only album he has released in the last 5 years, and it has mixed opinions. I swear in the last calendar year, he hyped up some kind of release at least 3 times to his fans, and he's just teasing them, and nothing happens. He has all you meat riders on a massive edge streak. At least you can find Travis Scott featuring on other rappers' projects. Since 2021, the last 3 years, name 5 Cardi features. Go. Another rapper that simply doesn't drop a lot anymore is my GOAT, Kendrick Lamar. You guys don't have to ask yourself if this is going to be a wombo combo yap glaze, because you already know what I'm going to do. He does not miss. Every album he has dropped has ranged from good to masterpiece. Anybody who says otherwise, I respect your choice to identify as disabled. Section 80 to Mr. Morale, explain to me, where are the misses? Where are the misses? Unlike every other mainstream rapper, what flawed album does he have? Consistent good albums, peak hits, and used to drop in a timely manner. He didn't drop an album for 5 years, starving everybody, and that hurts him, and like I said it before, that's a really long time. Another rapper with about the same longevity as Kendrick, but is nowhere near as good, is J. Cole. In my correct opinion, the most overrated rapper of all time. His music is just, I were to wake up in the middle of the night and need some music to put me back to sleep, I'm playing No Role Models or something. I've tried listening to him way too many times and I will never understand the appeal of this guy. Cry louder. Now I'm gonna quick mention some other rappers and run through them real quick. Kanye is an all-type great rapper. I think like Drake, he's not in his prime anymore, but at least some of his fans understand that. Juice WRLD and XX were coming up with their middle school Broken Sigma music. I don't really critique their posthumous music because it's not music that they release themselves. It kind of just exists. But discography they released was it was okay, I guess. Youngboy drops a lot of music, but how much of it is good? None. There's other artists I could mention, but I won't, because even though they're relevant to certain people, their best days are behind them, or it's been a while since they've released music that's good. So who would you guys consider the best rapper today? There's not really a consensus because of how dry rap has been the last 2 years, especially in my opinion. Comment your thoughts and suggestions for my next couple of videos. And yeah.